If you enjoyed this program, please like and subscribe. In fact, Paul uses that he refers to the devil as the Lord of this world. And that's an idea that's thoroughly unbiblical. It's highly dualistic. It has nothing to do with Judaism. It has everything to do with Gnosticism and the kinds of ideas that would fuel Manichaeism. So Satan really exists. He's very real. What Christianity has wrong about Satan and demons is their belief that Satan is an enemy of God. It's a malevolent angel, a metaphysical being that's at war with God. So Satan and demons, it's the metaphysical world. HaKadosh Baruch Hu created them, and he created them in order to give us free will. So the fact that there appears Satan mentioned or demons mentioned in Tanakh or rabbinic literature, that should not trouble you. It is the way that it's presented in Tanakh, as an example. In the book of Job, we encounter Satan, who comes to God and before the ministering angels and points out that this fellow named Job, and granted he's very righteous, but if he were tested, he perhaps would not be righteous. And God instructs Satan, okay, this is what you can do to him to test him, and this is what you can't do. You can't take away his life. And Satan does exactly what God tells him to, hardly an enemy of God. In Christianity, Satan is part of a dualistic view in that there's God, the good God, and it's kind of an idea that you would find in Zoroastrianism, this dualism where you have an evil, malevolent metaphysical entity that's at war with God and seeks to destroy mankind and ultimately goes to war with Jesus and God in the book of Revelation. That's not the only other place you'll find it. So be very careful about this. And this is something we talked about in our show together last week, and that is it is common to discover terms that both Jews and Christians use. And at first glance, they appear to be the same, and they are not the same at all. We've talked about the word faith. Christianity and Judaism both use the term faith. We mean something completely different when we use that term. When it comes to Satan, bear in mind that man is created in the image of God. Man is created in the image of God. We have in the Neshama, every person, Jew, non-Jew, doesn't make a difference. We all are created b'Tselem Elokim. And therefore our default is to serve Hashem and never to sin. And if there was no Satan in the world, we would have no free will because we would never want to sin. It would be silly. It would be as foolish as in the kitchen, sticking your hand into a flame. We might make mistakes, might be careless, but we would never intentionally burn our hand. That doesn't make any sense. So Satan, that's why it says in Isaiah 45 that Hashem created evil. And it's there so that there's a balance, because we're told explicitly in Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 15, before you I place good and life and evil, and you should choose good. So Hashem is placing that before us. So don't be distracted here. Be very careful. Satan is real. The question is he an enemy of God? No, it's really, I'm not going to say it's silly, because it's very attractive. It's so attractive that you could see that in fictional characters, in cartoons and movies, you have a good guy and a bad guy, right? And no one's quite sure why the Riddler is doing this. Like, why are the villains, right? All right. So no angel can go into rebellion against God. That can't happen. They have no free will. They only do what Hashem created them for. Satan is there to give us free will, and he's mentioned very infrequently in Tanakh, and therefore it's very easy to identify exactly what his purpose is in the world, and therefore the fact that Satan, demons are used, that's not relevant to anything. Satan is there to give us free will, and we can overcome sin. We can just step on its head, and he's done with, he's finished. But in Christianity, in fact, Paul uses that he refers to the devil as the Lord of this world. And that's an idea that's thoroughly unbiblical. It's highly dualistic. It has nothing to do with Judaism. It has everything to do with Gnosticism and the kinds of ideas that would fuel Manichaeism and other religious movements at the time of the early Christian movement. Thank you for your question. If you enjoyed this program, please like and subscribe.
אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נעשה בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא